So I didn't originally want to make this video, however I feel wavix has forced my hand because he's brought up stuff both public and private, and I don't really know what to do. So, first and foremost, wavix made this video on me, talking about this whole situation, apparently in response to the fact that I made this community post. And the funny thing about that is this community post was worded in such a way where I was trying not to have hate sent wavix's way, because I just needed to make an announcement because I'm no longer running the wavix levels list. But now that wavix has put all this forward, I'm going to present the evidence publicly. Now, I know I'm supposed to do this in as easy of a way to understand as possible, however, to start things off, I want to address this screenshot he shows at the end of the video, because this is the reason a lot of people believe wavix, and honestly, if you are mad at me for this, fair enough, but know that this was supposed to be a joke. And I don't mean that in the way EDPs just say, oh, it was a joke to defend themselves. I quite literally mean this was supposed to have the same energy as this meme, which has been going around on Twitter. The problem is people who know me closely know that I have a horrible time indicating tone in text to the point where I'm one of the people who use tone indicators, and this message could have definitely benefited from a /J at the end of it. Yeah, no, this was probably the worst thing in the situation, and like I said in DMs with wavix, I don't blame Gthom and Lettuce for being uncomfortable with me. I don't blame people for just being uncomfortable with how this situation unfolded. If you're mad at me, that's fine, but don't sit here and call me a pedo, because that was not my intention from the beginning. Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, I just wanted to put that as my first piece of evidence right off the bat, and again, if you don't take that seriously, that's fine. I can understand people being mad at me for this, but, you know, that I've put forward what I can't really do much more. So let me address the rest of the situation, and hopefully, when I give an idea where my headspace is at, people will be a little bit more understanding. So, first and foremost, for those of you who don't even understand the situation, there was a level called Oni-chan, and it's a controversial level for valid reason. Basically, the level, not only does it have a really, well, the best I can put it is weird line at the beginning of the level, but it flashes art of anime characters, some of which being underage. So, the reason I even talked about this situation to begin with is because I took offense to how people were responding. Not because they were upset with the level, because again, it's fair if you're upset with the level. I took offense because people were comparing the content in this level to actual child exploiters like EDP445 and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the reason I take offense to the way people responded is quite simply that they were putting it on the same level as this stuff when all the level has is suggestive audio and fully clothed art of characters. Now, taking a step back, I'm not saying the level isn't creepy. I'm not saying the way the art was used was creepy. The level in general, it's a weird level. I don't think I need to be any more blunt about that, right? Like, I think you will just agree with that statement. The level is weird, and I never said it wasn't weird. All I have been trying to say is that the level isn't as bad as people are making it out to be, because people are making the level sound like a cybercrime. Part of why I hold the opinion I do is because the creator of Oni-chan credited the artists they used on the end screen of the level, and if you go to the artist's page, as far as I can tell, I don't even think they draw anything NSFW. It's all just normal-ass anime art with nothing weird about it. It's all just normal anime art. If you're curious, this is literally one of the art pieces used in the level. And I want to go on record and say, yes, these characters are underage, and I don't like the fact they were included in the context of this level. Like I said, criticize the level for being creepy all you want, but to call that illegal content is just annoying to me, because you are downplaying and making it harder for actual child victims to have their voice heard. To put this on the same level as actual child exploitation, that is why I was so pissed. But of course, wavix and other people involved are trying to spin this and make it sound like I shifted opinion, and that this wasn't my original opinion, and that I clearly liked the level.
The reason I say it at least felt like his argument had shifted was because he had deleted his old community post at this point and replaced it with a new one at my suggestion, now claiming that he never liked the level or agreed with it to begin with. However, between his old community post and some screenshots of his initial reaction to seeing the level for the first time, which he later deleted, by the way, I think he originally was a pretty big fan of the level, and because of the backlash he received from that opinion, rightfully so, he changed his tune.
I can disprove that because I still have the original Twitter video that I deleted.
To fucking harass the creator and label them as some kind of predator, I am a victim of this shit. Of actual child exploitation. And to act like this is the same thing pisses me off. I've also heard people try to accuse the level of sampling CP. Two things to respond to that. Firstly, no, all the audio comes from different anime. Secondly, even if it did, how would the song be on Newgrounds? The song being on Newgrounds automatically disproves that.
Again, I want to make it clear. Did I handle this situation poorly? And did I word myself poorly? Yes. But that doesn't mean I intended to defend the level. Some people took what I said as defense, and I'll just go on record saying right now, that was never the intent. The reason I shit on the GD community for harassing anime fans is because a lot of the criticism that I saw towards this level was genuinely unfair, and I viewed it in a similar lens to the criticism Misfire gets. I mentioned this in the community post, but I want to talk about something, because one thing that really bothers me in these DMs is it almost implies to me that wavix doesn't believe my quote-unquote backstory, which, if you don't know, in my community post I mentioned that I was groomed when I was a kid, and this DM reads to me as wavix saying he doesn't believe that I was groomed. I tried to press him on it, but he never elaborated on it, so yeah, but I'm almost certain that that's what he was trying to say. When I was around 14, I started to get really heavy into the furry fandom, and because of that, I would use Omegle to try to find other people to talk to, because I didn't know how to get into the fandom. I didn't know how to approach it, so I'm like, oh, well, I mean, doesn't Omegle have a cool way of contacting people? Because I had no way of making friends on the internet back then. I was 14, I was still in school, I didn't know entirely what I was doing. And so I went on Omegle, and if you don't know, through Omegle's text chat, you can literally filter by interest. So if I remember correctly, I would just type in furry and furries, which, God, looking back, I was such a stupid 14-year-old. Eventually, I got in contact with an individual, and unfortunately, I can't prove any of this because Google Hangouts doesn't exist anymore. But eventually I got in contact with an individual, and they told me that they really found me interesting, and they wanted to continue to talk to me outside of Omegle. You see, that's the thing, on Omegle, normally you talk to people for all of 10 minutes, and then you dip. But this person wanted to add me on Google Hangouts, so I did, and it quickly became suggestive, and me being a kid who didn't know any better, I started to think the person had feelings for me, and I had feelings for them, which is really, really creepy, and I hate that I'm saying this out loud, but they basically emotionally manipulated me into thinking that a relationship would have been okay. From there, the person convinced me to send them several explicit images, and yeah, that's my story. Now, I'm not telling you this to serve as an excuse. In fact, I don't want you to apply this to any of the Oni-chan drama, except for one specific thing. This is an explanation as to why I couldn't word myself well. I was emotional when I wrote this post because I was having flashbacks to the shit that happened. To the cops coming to my door and having to question me. So of course, I wasn't in a good state of mind when I wrote the original community post. That's why I recorded the Twitter video. For those of you who saw the community post before it was deleted, but after, like, I want to say maybe a day. I don't know how long it was, to be honest. Eventually, for those of you who saw it, you can confirm, at some point I edited the community post and added the Twitter video I showed earlier. That Twitter video was supposed to be even more specific on my thoughts, But even then, the Twitter video wasn't well worded because I never actually stated that I found the level uncomfortable. I did find the level uncomfortable, but I never truly stated that, and all I did was tear into people for comparing it to Jeffrey Epstein. All in all, yes, I handled this situation extremely poorly, but I did not in any way mean to defend the level. That was not my original point, but of course, wavix and his community wouldn't listen to me. I tried to explain myself in DMs to him, and he just kept shutting down my explanations because he didn't believe me. So then there's the second criticism towards me. The fact that for like a small window of time, I changed my Discord PFP to cropped NSFW art of Chara from Undertale. So did I do this? Yes. Was the character underage in the art? No. I know some people will argue that it doesn't matter because the character is canonically underage, but A, like I said, I did not know that. wavix phrases it as if it's hard to believe that I didn't know the character was underage, but look at how Undertale looks as a game. Can you really tell the difference between the characters' ages? 'Cause I can't. If I remember correctly, I didn't even put that much thought into the image that I picked. I just went onto the Rule 34 website and picked a random-ass image on the first page without thought. And if you're curious why I even did this and why I thought it'd be funny, well, it's because it was Pride Month. That's literally it. It was a Pride Month joke. And what annoys me is that wavix is phrasing it as if it's hard to tell that the character's 18 plus or anything like that. This is the Twitter bio of the artist that drew the art I set as my PFP. Their bio literally states that all the characters they draw are depicted as 18 plus. So the character in my PFP was not underage. He was aged up. The reason I brought this up in the first place when I was talking to wavix in DMs is because I genuinely believe that this was a person either tied to or straight up was a person who was harassing me in the past. Not only did I get several DMs the same day before the event of what happened with wavix happened, but the comment wavix used as an example was used by a commenter who told me to kill myself in my community posts the same day. This isn't the only time I've had these false accusations thrown at me by this specific harasser. There was a GD account, it was my screen name without the 0, and it was impersonating me and saying a bunch of really, really weird shit, like stuff relating to vor and fat-shaming me, and most concerningly, the account was trying to allude to the idea that me and wavix were dating, which I think is very obviously not the case. Despite this being something that wavix knows happened, because not only did I tell wavix about it in DMs, but this individual raided wavix Discord to spam ping me several times, he acts like it's far-fetched that they could be the one doing this. And if you're wondering, yes, I did tell wavix about this account back when it happened, so wavix does know. I had to tell wavix because the account doxed him. Luckily, the docs have been taken down since, but it did happen. And at this point in the video, I'm going to prove that wavix is being a little bit dishonest in skewing the situation to make me sound worse than I am.
As soon as I mentioned this, Scary immediately jumped to a completely different situation that I was unaware of, in which at some point in the past, Scary, quote-unquote, as a joke, changed his profile picture to a cropped version of an aged-up NSFW image of an underage Undertale character.
So I have wavix in my DMs pulled up, and what we're actually talking about here isn't too relevant. Basically, I was originally in charge of merging one of wavix's collabs, but I had it taken away from me because I was taking too long. That's not the point. The actual thing we're talking about in these DMs are not the important part. See, I haven't actually just set my PFP to NSFW once, I did it twice, and this was the other time I did it. It is cropped NSFW of Amy from Sonic. Again, did it as a joke. And, yeah, I mean, I screenshotted DMs with other people and sent them to wavix. wavix has seen my cropped NSFW PFPs. He never criticized them, and he only feels the need to criticize them after he's not friends with me, which is really, really dishonest. There's another point in the DMs where wavix makes it look like he's shocked that I contacted wavix harasser and that all this stuff went down, but I told wavix about it previously in DMs. He knew. So this was clearly just wavix being dishonest. The beginning of the DMs makes it clear to me that the real reason wavix is doing this is to protect his brand as a YouTuber, because in his own words, he uses YouTube as a side job. And so it just really, really bothers me that wavix would pick protecting his brand over defending his friend. Because wavix literally threw me under the bus here just so he could stop getting a couple hostile comments. So what do I plan on doing going forward? Well, same as usual. I'm just going to continue making content, sticking to my own field, doing my own thing. I really, really don't want this to go any further. Don't harass wavix, don't unsubscribe, I don't want wavix deplatformed. Keeping in mind that wavix is underage, he's probably just handling the situation very poorly, which that makes two of us, because we both handled this situation very poorly, I think. But yeah, don't harass wavix. I don't want this to hurt his reputation. I'm just defending myself because, of course, wavix had to make a fucking video about this. Going forward, I'm just going to try to move on from this situation, and I hope all parties involved do. Both wavix's fanbase, wavix, my fanbase, and me. We should all just move on, because this situation has already been blown way out of proportion. I hope this video suffices in explaining my side in perfect detail, and yeah. As for the wavix fan levels, any level that was made as a fan level to wavix that was already uploaded has been deleted, and same with the videos. I just no longer want to associate with wavix, so I have removed the levels from the servers, and I do not give anybody permission to upload or re-upload my levels. If you re-upload any of my levels without my permission, yeah, don't do that. Don't be a jerk. I mean, I can't really stop you because GD's servers don't really have any good reporting systems, but, like, I'm putting this out there now. If there are any re-uploads of any of the wavix fan levels I made, yeah, I didn't give permission for that. The only wavix fan level that's going to be brought back is Sonic wavix, because I was really proud of this when I made it. It's really easy to remove all of the wavix related stuff in the level, as it's just the end screen. So I will be editing the end screen and renaming the level to Sonic Rave, and I will be re-verifying it and uploading it to my account and my channel. But aside of that, everything is dead. That was a wavix fan project, except for the levels that were unfinished, because stuff like Portland Circles and wavix on Acid I am rebranding, so wavix on Acid's name is now OK Trip, and Portland Circles is now named after an SCP. And yeah, I think that's all I had to say in this video. Thank you for watching and hearing me out, and I apologize for the more serious video. Probably in a few months or so, I might unlist this video, just so that way it doesn't sit here and make my upload list more depressing. I just want to upload this to get my side of the story out, and yeah.